Well, Jack, here we are in the England camp. We've spoken a few times as your stock has risen, but do you feel comfortable here? Does the progression to this point feel like it's been natural and taken the right amount of time?
Yeah, definitely. I feel very comfortable here. I think the big thing for me was the squad has made me comfortable, the coaches have made me comfortable, and they've just allowed me to fit straight in and pick up to date with everything that's going on.
Yes, indeed. Well, it's a good time to be a back three player, particularly with England's injury concerns, and perhaps to be a winger as well. So for those less familiar with you, you started as a centre under Nicky Brooks at Penzance and Newell, and then moved to fullback. So tell us about that period and that transition to begin with.
I used to play. Obviously, I wanted to be a centre when I was young because I always wanted my hands on the ball. And I think if Nicky Brooks, my old coach, said to me that he was going to put me on the wing, I probably wouldn't have played rugby or enjoyed rugby as much as I did then. But for me, just growing up was just obviously you've got to change positions. You're not always going to be in the same position. I wasn't a bigger than most of the boys there. But growing up, I obviously came into Exeter as a fullback, but obviously the likes of Luke Arscott, a fullback, he's a top quality player, and Exeter thought it would be a good idea for me to play on the wing, obviously, so we could both be on the pitch at the same time. But the idea of Exeter is if you're a winger, you got the idea of you get to roam the pitch, you get to get your hands on the ball as much as possible. You can pop up in any position, and you get that license to run around. And yeah, it was a really good move for me, I think, from Rob and Ali.
Yes, and once you stepped up to Exeter, what did the difference feel like in terms of the standard of rugby and commitment you'd had to show to a team as to when you moved there? I
think the big thing for me was when I was growing up and stuff. Exeter thought it was a good idea to put me on a season loan to Red Roof when I was 16. It was just get the idea of men's rugby and just get used to being around men playing rugby, because obviously I was growing up with people all my own age. But I think that was a massive decision for me, and I enjoyed it at the time. And my first season at Exeter, I definitely did feel more comfortable being there because I was only 18. But have already had a season under my belt of playing men's rugby for a season was good, and I did feel very comfortable there.
Yes, making your Chiefs debut in 2011, but it wasn't until midway through last season you were maybe formally brought into the first team as a winger. How did the centre in you feel about
that? I think I just said in there, I was obviously a lot of nerves were there. Obviously going up through college and stuff, it was just I wanted to play for Exeter, I wanted to be in the Premiership side for Exeter, I wanted to be involved in the first team, and then for it to come 2 seasons in so soon, there was a lot of nerves there, I'm not going to lie, but for me I feel a lot better if I just pushed them to one side and just the excitement then came through to actually feel like I could actually be out there with the rest of the boys.
And now this season, Heineken Cup experience, back-to-back games against Toulon, what's that felt like?
Well, playing against some of the best players in the world, obviously again, a lot of nerves were there, but again, more excitement came through. Just playing against, I think I was up against Havana, and just me watching. I was growing up watching him, watching on TV, watching for South Africa, and
adverts racing against cheaters.
Yeah, adverts running against cheaters, thinking this guy's pretty good. But yeah, for me, I just try to concentrate on my own game, and you're going to go against a lot tougher people, and you're going to go against a lot easier people. But for me, it was just we all focused on our own game. We played what Exeter Chiefs is about.
And now you're training with England. You've been with the under-20s, junior world champions, of course. Must be great to have other fellow teammates around like Anthony Watson, who's now with the squad, and also familiar faces like George Ford.
Yeah, definitely. I think a few of the boys give us a bit of banter here because we're always together. But it's nice to have Anthony up with me. Obviously, it doesn't feel so long ago that we were out in France together. But to make this jump up now, it is nice to have someone there with me. And obviously, I've got like Tom Johnson looking after me from XD. He took me up here. But no, it's good. Straight away we're fit straight into the side, and we feel very comfortable with them.
You've got your minders with you.
Yeah.
And does anything feel different now that you're up with the senior squad? Is anything different? Are the beds comfier, that sort of thing?
No, obviously we are used to being in the camp environment. I think that's why the age groups are so good. Obviously, being with under 18s, being with 20s, we're used to players, and we used to spend a long time with a lot of players, and obviously being in that camp environment and stuck in a hotel. But there's always stuff for us to do. We're always going off. We obviously went out for a meal and stuff last night, but it is very enjoyable.
And whispers potentially that Jack Nowell could be featuring in the England game against France. That would be an incredible achievement, and you'd be incredibly excited. Just give us your thoughts on that. I
think the big word is it could be. Obviously, it's something that I've always wanted when I was younger, but for me, coming into the camp, I just wanted to focus on just my game. I spoke with Stuart and Kathy and Faz, and they just said that you're up here for a reason. You're up here because of what you're doing for Exeter, and that's the reason we picked you. So for me, it was just coming into this camp and just not really changing who I was and just doing what I was good at.